When I say, what do we want? You say, climate emergency. What do we want? Climate emergency. When do we want it? Now. When I say, what do we want? You say, climate emergency. What do we want? Climate emergency. When do we want it? Now. Great. Thank you so much for being here. I am Kim Porter with the North Carolina Warren and the North Carolina Poor People's Campaign. We're happy to have you here today. We need Governor Cooper to declare a climate emergency, and we need him to do it now. We need him to stop Duke's fracked gas, and we need him to stop it now. When do we want it? Now. Thank you again for being here. We've got a special treat today, some great speakers lined up for you, and we have a performance by Charlie Lowry, and she will be performing a poem and then singing for us. So let's give it up for her, y'all.
Good afternoon. Happy to see everybody here. My name's Charlie Lowry, and I'm from Pembroke, North Carolina. I'm proud to be Lumbee and Tuscarora, representing Robeson County and Eastern North Carolina. I also sit on the board of NC Warren, and I'm just honored to have been asked to participate today because Mother Earth is very near and dear to my heart. I grew up very close to the land. I'm a singer-songwriter, but I felt led last night to write some words to share with you. Some say artists shouldn't try to be politicians. To that I say, I'm an artist with a mission. Equal parts song and walking in purpose for you to listen. I'm not a politician, but I carry teachings and policies for a life that is filled with my ancestors' wisdom. An inherently ancient knowledge and keen sense of awareness, enough to know that settler colonialism is way past the point of being antiquated and careless. The stench of this power-driven pillage and plunder, dying to conquer league is an intoxicating fusion of excess and greed that is steeped for generations in taking way more than we need. When is enough enough? I wish we could call our leadership's bluff, yet another day passes and Mother Earth gets snubbed. Every day that we are given is a new day to lead in a positive direction, but leading must be done with holistic views and reflection. A good friend of mine always says, we are up to our knees in water, yet dying of thirst. That's because we are forgetting to put our Earth Mother first. She may seem fine on the surface, but we know she is disturbed by the turbulence. Where will we steady our feet when the ground begins to crumble from the inside out in search of relief? This isn't a false alarm, and we aren't crying wolf. We need to think rationally, zoom in with practicality, style ourselves in a more sustainable look. Now, I have all the respect in the world for the position of the governor. I've performed in that mansion for the governor. I respect Governor Cooper for the way he's handled the pandemic and other things as it pertains to our state. But I say that, Governor, you must declare a state of climate emergency. People listen to you and governmental decrees. Because pretending to be blind whilst leading the blind still adds up to not being able to see. And I've got a song for you that I want to share. I'm going to need some help because I'm going to play my hand drum. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. And if you...
What side do I need to be on?
On my right side.
Sorry.
That's... Hold it up a little bit. All right. Just... Hey, hey.
Something went off.
Yeah, hold on. I'll hold it. Hey, hey. Testing.
Something went off.
Got that one?
Try that one.
Hey, 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 hey.
Test. Test.
No, it's not good.
I have a pretty strong voice. This song is called Idle No More, and it was written by my mentor. Her name is Pura Fay, and it rose from the First Nations people up in Canada and their fights for access to clean water, their lands, their ancestral lands. And the song is really a call for all humanity, for us to continue. Everyone here, I'm glad that we're all here together. We're aware, but there's a lot of us, most of humanity, that is not. This is a song for all of us to wake up and realize the hurt that we're doing to Mother Earth. We can't keep remaining idle. Wait, oh, hey, wait, oh, how, wait, oh, we don't. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, we are wait on, we don't. Wait on, wait, oh, hey, on, wait on, wait on, wait, oh, hey, on, wait on. Wait on, wait, oh, hey, oh. Oh, oh, hey, oh, hey, wait, hey, oh, how, wait, oh, wait, oh. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh. We are wait on, wait, oh, we are, wait on, wait on. Together, brothers and sisters, I don't know more. We walk in the light with our brothers and sisters. We stand and fight with a drum, a song, a prayer, this change of time. This is the true reckoning, the human awakening. Together, brothers and sisters, I don't know more. Together, brothers and sisters, I don't know more. Oh, hey, wait, oh, how, wait, oh, we don't. Hey, oh, hey, oh, we are wait, oh, we don't. Wait on, wait, oh, hey, wait on, hey, wait on, hey, wait on. Together, brothers and sisters, I don't know more. People come by the hundreds, sing and dance the streets of shopping malls to the corners and capitals of City Hall. All over this turtle island, our presence will break the silence. Together, brothers and sisters, I don't know more. Together, brothers and sisters, I don't know more. Oh, hey, wait, oh, how, wait, oh, we don't. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, we are wait, oh, we don't. Wait, oh, wait, oh, hey, oh, wait, oh, hey, wait, oh, hey, wait, oh. Together, brothers and sisters, I don't know more. Thank you, that was beautiful, thank you.
Test 2, 3, 4. We want to try it again?
I can project pretty well if people can hear me. Is that okay? Hey everybody, my name is Josh McClenny. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm the Energy Democracy Field Coordinator for Appalachian Voices. Do a mix of community organizing and a little bit of advocacy when I have to over in that building. But I'm here to talk a little bit about Governor Cooper declaring a climate emergency and more so exactly what that means. If you follow policy at all in the state, if you follow any of the laws that have been passed specifically regarding energy and the environment, you know there have been several in the past year that have deep effect on a lot of the communities that are most deeply impacted by climate change. You know, there was the North Carolina Farm Act that created a general permit for biogas operations in the eastern part of the state. Biogas, hog waste, CAFOs are issues that affect indigenous communities, Latinx communities across the state, low to moderate income communities. You know that House Bill 951 was signed into law very recently. That's a bill that did not nearly enough for low to moderate income ratepayers across the state. Not nearly enough. People who are already struggling to pay their bills and will see increased costs due to this bill. When we talk about action, we talk about a climate emergency. Saying it's a climate emergency doesn't go nearly far enough. We have to make sure the policies that we're advocating for and the people that we're advocating for are included in the solutions. So I don't want to take up too much space. Paid advocates like myself get to speak at stuff like this all the time, but just really honored to be able to speak here, and hope Governor Cooper will declare the climate emergency that he needs to. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Josh. And we have a bullhorn here for speakers if they'd like to use it. I don't think I need one. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Great. Again, I'm Kim Porter with the North Carolina Poor People's Campaign and with NC Warren, who is the primary sponsor. But what I wanted to tell y'all, thank you. Been around for 33 years and going strong, NC Warren. But let me say this too. This rally is not just an NC Warren rally. Because what makes this unique is we're working with our cohorts, our people like you who are out here, because we all need to be calling on the governor to declare a climate emergency. So I'm going to read the groups that are co-sponsoring along with NC Warren. We have Alliance to Protect Our People and the Places We Live. Appalachian Voices. Clean Path 2025, Winston-Salem. Climate Reality, Raleigh Chapter. Energy Justice, North Carolina. Friends of the Earth, United States. The Lilies Project. North Carolina Climate Justice Collective. North Carolina Poor People's Campaign, I mentioned earlier. North Carolina Climate Solutions Coalition. The Red-Tailed Hawk Collective. And Sunrise NC. And Sunrise Durham, who's done a lot of the work that you see with the signs and online. Let's give them. We also have 350 Charlotte, 350 Triangle, and 350 Winston-Salem. We also have had almost 90 groups who have signed on to call on Governor Cooper to stop Duke's fracked gas. 90 groups close to that and going strong. So if your group wants to sign on with what we're doing, you can go to ncwarren.org and look that up. And what I wanted to say right now is just looking at kind of an overview. Why are we taking action? Why are we doing it? That's right. Yeah. Excellent. We need more young people like you. Woo! Why are we taking action? North Carolina communities are often devastated by repeated torrential rains, floods, and hurricanes. They're suffering from drought and the risk of fire. We deserve true leadership, not a giant wave of new climate-wrecking power plants and the repeated hikes in electricity bills that they would bring. Because these impact low-income and BIPOC communities disproportionately. Those are Black, Indigenous, people of color who are impacted the most. And we've got to stop that. We've got to stop it now. Stopping the expansion of natural or methane gas infrastructure can help slow global heating very quickly, according to leading climate scientists. And we do have better options. Renewable power, like solar and wind, that's what we need. And battery backup storage, that's what we need, not more gas.
Yeah, definitely.
We know that gas pipelines, gas power plants, those aren't the solution. There's no time left for false solutions. We don't have time. We have to act now. Scientists say current international pledges to cut emissions are not enough. They're not enough. Talking is not enough. We need action, and we need it now. Scientists say current international pledges to cut emissions are not enough to prevent catastrophic climate impacts, that we must drastically cut emissions of super potent methane immediately. Duke Energy is out of step. Duke Energy is a monopoly. Especially in this state, we see that. They are the largest corporate utility in the United States and the second largest in the world. They're one of the largest corporations in the United States, and they are a huge emitter, one of the worst of greenhouse gases, if not the worst. We know that. They need to change their business plan. They need to do it now. A landmark 2021 UN study showed cutting methane is the strongest lever we have to slow climate change over the next 25 years. And they called for an end to new natural gas infrastructure. But Duke Energy's most recent 15-year integrated resource plan projects an increase in its use of gas by building up to 9,600 megawatts of new gas, which is equivalent to over 50 gas-powered units at 10 to 13 sites in the Carolinas. Y'all, that's like 12 nuclear power plants. Way too much. But guess what? I'm almost done, y'all. The solution to get North Carolina to 100% renewable energy by 2035 is detailed in the North Carolina Clean Path 2025. We can get to over 57% by 2025. We can get all the way there by 2030. And we have a guide, a roadmap, if you will, okay? We need to use solar, we need to use wind, we need the battery backup. We need to do that now. We need to stop these false solutions. And what's really great is we are going to be hearing from people who are impacted the most by what Duke Energy is doing. And we need our governor, you're our governor, you need to act.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good, good. I'm not a preacher, but I've been told I have a preacher's voice, so I'm going to try to use it today. My name is Donna Chavis. I am Lumbee, coming from Pembroke, North Carolina, which is in Robeson County, the southeastern part of the state that we love dearly. I am a senior climate campaigner with Friends of the Earth, and I'm co-founder of the Red Tail Hawk Collective. And I want to say I'm very happy to be here today in representation of those groups. But today I speak from my experience as an impacted person in Robeson County. First, let me give appreciation to all of the planners for today's event and all of those who have joined by co-sponsorship and have signed up in other ways. I'm glad to be in your company and appreciate the opportunity to speak today. I want to speak today first and foremost starting with impacts. As I said, I do come from Pembroke, and Robeson County was one of the, in Matthew's case, we were the most impacted community whenever Matthew came in 2016. And in 2018 then we had Florence. Now you know those both were superstorms. Superstorms that have been acknowledged to be related to the climate crises we faced not only in North Carolina and the United States but globally. And these crises have been recognized across the board by scientists, by politicians nationally and even internationally, as came forward in the COP26 just recently. So we stand here today speaking to Governor Cooper not out of disrespect, but calling him to, in a respectful way, to step up as a leader, to be the first governor, to declare a climate emergency for our state. What we need now is leadership, not followership. You know, there were many times whenever North Carolina looked to and named California's actions as they were beginning to take what they considered to be progressive steps. Well, We don't want to be following anyone because we are our own people and our own state, and we want our leaders to do just that. To be in front. And so we call today for our governor to be that leader that we know he can be. He has gone against the grain when he was Attorney General. We know that. And that gave him some respect. So now we're looking for him to do the same thing when it comes to these climate emergencies. I live in a place that was hit, as I said, by those 2 hurricanes. There are still citizens in Robeson County looking for their homes to be repaired. We are still looking for resolutions and solutions. And the solution is not, as has already been said, more dirty energy, more fracked methane gas. That is not the solution. That only adds to the problem. So, as we were reflecting on, meeting with FEMA and OSHA and other leaders after these storms, and they were being called 1,000-year storms. 1,000-year storms, not 100-year storms. Now, when does a 1,000-year storm not be a 1,000-year storm when it happens 2 years later? You know, when do we start calling it what it is, which is super storms that are being leveraged by the climate crises? We were told at that time after Matthew, it's not a matter of when, it's not a matter of if, but when. These were the federal representatives saying that. These were not impacted people. These were our scientists who were supposed to know these answers, and they say not if, but when the next storm will come. Well, Florence came 2 years later. Now, we have been lucky we haven't had another Florence. That does not mean we won't. Like they said, it is not a matter of if, but when. And so we are calling for our leaders to recognize that while we're having 1,000-year storms within 2 years of each other, that now is the time to declare the climate emergency. These are not normal hurricanes. Hey, I grew up as a kid with hurricanes. I got a couple of days off from school. We celebrated. That was cool, right? These are not those hurricanes. These are different, and they're not going away. North Carolina needs to step into the leadership role that it should have. Now, in Robeson, we have another situation where Duke Energy has built a liquefied natural gas facility. Now, during the time that the Atlantic Coast Pipeline was coming along, and bear with me, I'll make the connection, this was being discussed, and it was said, oh, there's no connection to the ACP and the LNG. Well, when the ACP got canceled, we found out it was, because they began to make the case that we don't have the ACP, now we need the LNG to store energy. So one of the things that we have experienced recently with this LNG situation is that the potential of it being linked to the development of the factory farm methane gas, and we should use methane at every chance we get. For me, it's frack methane, 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 methane. Yes. Everyone knows how bad methane is. Let's use that word as much as we can. And so this factory farm methane gas that is talked about now to be developed through the swine digester system is ostensibly with Dominion and Smithfield Farms, which brings together big ag with big energy in a way that we haven't seen before. However, Duke is right in there with pipeline. We don't know. There's 19 farms that are going to be using this digester system. We only know 4 that are owned by Smithfield. They will not release the other 15. They say that is proprietary information. Proprietary information? Where this gas is going to be generated, where it's going to be piped from? What's proprietary about that? It's our lives. It's our lives that are at risk. But word has come out that some of the pipes that will be used, the only ones we know of right now, are P&G. And who owns P&G? Duke Energy. Duke Energy. So when we're looking at the shale, frack, methane gas diminishing and being used up, what better replacement can they have but factory farmed gas? Factory farmed methane gas can only continue with more and more factory farm animal farms. Yes. We need to pay attention to the movement of Duke. They are a progenitor of much gas that comes from the shale gas sources, but now they're moving into another direction. So that they can even say, we are renewable. Because this is coming from a renewable source, and it's not. It is nothing renewable about factory farm methane gas. Right. So I stand before you today to say that with all of the problems we have related to our current climate crises, superstorms, drought, heat-related illness, and my county happens to be at the top of the list for all of those, that we have to pay attention to all of the ways that they are making their schemes to continue methane to be a problem for us into the future. Yes. We cannot allow our government to declare factory farm methane gas as renewable. It's not. It is a part of our issue today with Duke Energy to say no methane at all. Can I hear you say no methane at all? No methane at all. No methane at all. Thank you so much. Governor Cooper, let's make this the first anniversary of the first declaration of a state calling for a climate emergency. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my brothers and my sisters. And I want to, first of all, thank the media who have come out to document this very important event and this very important issue going forward. You are very important to us. And also to thank each and every one of you for coming out for this very important event as well. You, the climate activists, are very important in the scheme of things. And you ought to give yourselves a round of applause. The older I get, the more concerned I become of the devastating climate chaos caused by the massive power plants across the state of North Carolina. Back in December of 2019, there was a settlement that resulted in the largest coal ash cleanup in America. Unfortunately, Duke Energy has been moving in the spirit of all deliberate speed. You all, some of you all will remember that term as it related to the 1954 Board of Education versus Brown. And they moved with all deliberate speed. Ever since, doing all it can to obstruct and organize defiance and resistance to keep from doing what it has been ordered to do.
Yes, sir.
The fight for the settlement began in 2012, and to date, the more than 80 million tons of extremely toxic waste have not been excavated. Duke Energy's lackadaisical approach must be stopped.
Stop Duke Power! Stop Duke Power! Stop Duke Power! Stop Duke Power!
It will soon be 10 years since the battle began. Today, we come calling on Governor Cooper to use his authority under the Emergency Management Act to declare a climate emergency for North Carolina and to stop Duke Energy's gas expansion. Many of these pollution factories are intentionally found in low-wealth communities. Did you know that blacks and Latinos are disproportionately burdened with breathing air that's been polluted by whites? Did you know that blacks are exposed to 56% more pollution than caused by their consumption? And that Latinos are exposed to 63% more pollution than they cause? Did you know that whites enjoy a pollution advantage? Meaning they breathe 17% less air pollution than they cause. Black adults are almost 3 times more likely to die from asthma-related causes than white adults. And black babies are 4 times more likely to be admitted to the hospital for asthma than white babies. Governor Cooper, we're calling on you because our environment is in a state of emergency. And we urge you, sir, to do the right thing and declare a climate emergency in this state to halt the expansion of Duke Energy's gas units. And we need you, Governor, to do it now.
Leadership now! Leadership now! Leadership now! Leadership now! Leadership now! Leadership now! Leadership now!
Jim, say who that was for the camera.
Yeah, Reverend Anthony Spearman. Really appreciate him. Really appreciate immediate past president of the North Carolina NAACP. Thank you so much. My name is Jim Warren. I'm director of NC Warren. It is such an honor to be here with Reverend Spearman and all of you in the 17 groups that have helped pull this together. I want to talk about climate crisis, but I also...
Is there a mic you can use?
Yeah.
Where's the mic?
I also want to talk about some reasons for hope, and there are some real reasons for hope. The climate crisis is devastating communities, Donna Chavis's and a lot of others around this state and around the world. Yeah. You got it? All right.
Testing.
Just let me, am I okay if there's no cars going around? All right, I'll pump it up some. Use my outside voice, as Connie says. We've got a climate crisis. Even the world's politicians are now using that term. And the people are being devastated in communities, and we've got to help, and Governor Cooper has got to help. He has the authority under the Emergency Management Act to stop these repeated emergencies that are happening to Donna's community and so many others. We've got a situation here. Wonder how it feels to live down east and have all this devastation and have the scientists say it's going to keep getting worse. How does that feel? We've got a situation, we've got cheaper, cleaner, more reliable energy sources, and much of the world is moving that way, but we've got Duke Energy right here. They are the worst climate polluting electric corporation in the nation. One of the worst in the world. Duke Energy is our job. They're headquartered in North Carolina. They're making the whole climate crisis worse, and we're calling on our governor to assert his authority over a giant corporation that is allowed to operate here by the will of the people anyway. Now, a couple of reasons for hope. The world's scientists now are in consensus that cutting methane can help slow the climate crisis very, very quickly. And in fact, President Biden picked up on this too and has led over 100 countries to agree to cut methane emissions, also called natural gas. Cut the emissions, and he said too, he said it can help rapidly slow the rate of global warming. But we've got a corporation headquartered here planning to build over 50 frack gas burning power units at about a dozen different sites in the Carolinas. This is crazy. Duke Energy is our job. We've got to stop this giant corporation, and we have the authority to do that. Other bit of good news, leading prominent scientists are with us in calling on the governor to stop this massive gas expansion by Duke Energy. Over 85 organizations are with us. Thousands of North Carolinians are calling on the governor to take this action. That's good news. That's good news. That's hopeful. We can make this happen. We can stop this corporation. We can't change all these other countries, but we can stop this corporation and show the world that the United States and North Carolina, we are willing and we are able to require a giant corporate climate polluter to change course. Governor Cooper made a major mistake in October. He cut a deal with Duke Energy. He called it a climate solution. He took a lot of good credit for it. And in fact, that deal allows Duke to stay on track to build these 50 gas-fired units. It's called greenwashing. Greenwashing. So, our job here is to escalate the pressure, keep building on these thousands of voices, keep coming together like this, keep working together. And I'm going to close with a quote by a 21-year-old Mexican climate activist, Maria Reyes, who in Glasgow said, "We have to keep working even when we're sad, even when we're angry, and we have to work together." And these groups here together, and everybody here today, we've got to make that part happen. We've got to move past any barriers from working together. We've got to keep building bridges. We got to do it now. We are on track. Final thing, Duke Energy is in major trouble in a lot of ways. They are juggling a bunch of different major problems. The Atlantic Coast Pipeline, the $8 billion project that so many of these groups worked together and defeated. The biggest one is that clean energy and storage is now cheaper than dirty energy, and that is coming around, and that is going to change the equation. I feel it is inevitable. Duke Energy will have to change course. But our challenge is to make that happen now. Not in 3 years or 5, because the climate crisis is beyond urgent. And our job is to do it now, work together. Thanks again for coming, and keep it going.
Governor Cooper, leadership now! Governor Cooper, leadership now! Governor Cooper, leadership now! Governor Cooper, leadership now!
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Hello, that's a battery. That's what it was.
Check the mic on the stand. I think it works.
That's mine. That only goes to me.
Yeah.
Where's the camera? Oh, she's across the street. That's fun. Say it again.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me? Good. Okay, great.
Keep yelling.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kennedy Gudd. We are the last two speakers before we have a performance today. Thank you so much for having me. I am an Energy Democracy Leadership Institute Fellow, and I'm also a college student. I want to begin with a quote by Assata Shakur that's so relevant at this moment. Okay, that's so relevant at this moment, and it guides my vision of what I want my future to look like. It reads, "I hate war, and I hate having to struggle. I honestly do, because I wish I had been born into a world where it was unnecessary. This context of struggle and of being a warrior and being a struggler has been forced on me by oppression. Otherwise, I would be a sculptor or a gardener, a carpenter. You know, I would be free to be so much more. I guess part of me, or part of who I am, a part of what I do, is being a warrior, a reluctant struggler, but I do it because I am committed to life." And that was by Assata Shakur. We're asked beginning in kindergarten what we want to be when we grow up. Of course, many kids will say the occupation of their favorite person, like their mom or their dad. Many will say they want to be doctors or lawyers or astronauts. But even more kids at that age will tell you some of their most wildest dreams. And to them, those dreams aren't wild. For those kids, they aren't worried about being pragmatic or realistic, and they're only focused on doing what makes them absolutely happy. However, the future being given to us by fossil fuel polluters like Duke Energy, PG&E, Dominion, and any entity that supports the continuation of destruction to our Earth prevents future generations from seeing their wildest dreams come to fruition. Because of these companies that value profit over people, our generation and future generations have been born into a world where it is necessary to be a warrior and a struggler against environmental injustice, climate injustice, racial injustice, healthcare injustice, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yes.
With the trajectory that the climate change is on, there is no doubt that the way in which our generation and future generations envision the future will significantly change. There is absolutely no time for climate compromises or incremental climate solutions. It was 73 degrees yesterday in November. If that does not cause you to be alarmed, then think about what the weather will look like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Think about the massive and destructive hurricanes that will not only persist, but increase in occurrence, in size, and in destruction. Think about the waste and the animals that will fill the streets of communities near CAFOs. Think about the children who will have to put their future on hold to create solutions to problems that have been in existence decades before they were even thought of. This is not a problem that we can continue to put off. We need Governor Roy Cooper to declare a climate emergency now. We have the opportunity to create better for future generations so that they can live out their wildest dreams, so that I can even begin to imagine a life beyond oppression and beyond struggle. Like Assata Shakur, I'm committed to life for myself, I'm committed to life for you all, and I'm committed to life for future generations. Governor Roy Cooper, I hope you are committed to that as well. Thank you.
Governor Cooper, leadership now! Governor Cooper, leadership now! Governor Cooper, leadership now!
My name is Kathy Buckley. I'm with the NC Apple Alliance to protect our people and the places we live. Why is Duke building nuclear? Because it's more expensive.
It's not time to speak right now, but we'll have
I understand.
time. Thank you. So we need to
building nuclear and building gas plants is more profitable. 11% of those plants is much better for Duke than building solar and building wind.
That's right. Thank you. Okay, our next speaker, Jordan. Thank you.
Tanake, folks. My name is Jordan Revels. I use the pronouns he, they, them. I'm a proud member of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina, and I come from Pembroke, North Carolina, home of the Lumbee in Robeson County. As a longtime community organizer as well as a climate justice organizer for NC Warren, I know that the time for accountability for entities like Duke Energy has passed. It's very clear that they do not care about what outcomes that they have developed and issued out for us in our communities. Though the time for action from political figures such as Governor Cooper has been running, and with every tick of the clock that passes by passively, we know that our time is running short. We do not have time for politics to catch up and for things like unanimous agreements on climate and environmental policies to be passed across the board. We need leaders who will boldly stand against polluters like Duke Energy and lead us towards the green renewable energy revolution that we don't just want, but need. We need Governor Cooper to stand against the grain and issue a state of a climate emergency, not just for our state, but for future generations across the globe.
Governor Cooper, leadership now! Governor Cooper, leadership now! Governor Cooper, leadership now!
from the heart and share something personal. This is one of our planetariums from Robeson County that was devastated during Hurricane Matthew. This is not enough to even show the beginning of the damage that was dealt to our community and communities across the state, across the country. This is a fraction, less than a fraction of the reality that BIPOC communities across the globe are facing. I remember very vividly being able to enjoy myself as a small child, seeing a planetarium, imagining all the different possibilities in the world and the universe that could exist. But for future generations, this is not a part of their future. This is not something they will experience. In addition to all the things like our public schools of Robeson County being flooded out, people being absolutely out of school, out of home, thinking, when is the next storm? The amount of PTSD that comes to our communities, wondering, is this going to be it? Is this where I'm going to lose another house? Am I going to lose another family member? What happens next? How bad does it get? And when will we decide that enough is enough?
Isn't it great to hear from the young people? Isn't it great to hear from impacted people who are hurt the most by what's going on? They're resilient, they're strong, and they're going to keep fighting, and we're going to keep backing them up, because that's what we do. Now we're going to have a performance from the Paper Hand Puppets.
Of course.
And we're excited. Then the grannies will be next. We'll give them just a moment to set up.
I'm going to take this moment, not invited, but thank you all for coming out today. Often with protests, it's the completely convinced who are protesting to other completely convinced people. I am 70 years old. I was in an environmental college of environmental science and forestry, and that's when we had the first Earth Day. What did we do about it? What have we done? Pardon?
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing. We didn't accomplish a damn thing. And here we all are, not a couple of inches apart in our opinion. I'm going to try my best, and I would urge you all to do it too, to go out and talk to somebody who is not convinced the way we are.
That's right. Okay.
Later on in your day.
Now we need to have the performance. There will be time at the end for people who aren't scheduled to speak to do so after we march. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you can't see, come around to the front because it's sort of a visual thing. Keep it in the ground.
Yes.
Break free from fossil fuels.
Yes.
Look. Listen. Decide. Look at the smoke swirling in the sky. Listen to the storms and ask the question why. Decide to end big oil's rule. Break free from fossil fuels. Look, as government, look back they saw, climate change was near. Listen as they covered up what we all fear. Decide to prosecute the fraud that they grew. Big oil knew. Look as governments decided what to do. Listen as their promises became untrue. Decide to act now, each other to trust. It's up to us. Look where we must stay, 1.5 degrees. Listen as their plans would cause catastrophe. decide to leave fossil fuel where it's found, keep it in the ground.
Yeah.
Look as we work to save our hometowns. Listen as the industry fights and bears down. Decide we must change from NIMBY to NOPE. Not on planet Earth. Look to those hurt most who lose a job or home. Listen to each other. We don't live alone. Decide we must build a coalition. Make a just transition. Look, listen, decide. Thank you.
All right. And now we're going to hear from the grannies. And after that, we'll have a word for someone else. And then we're going to take a march, a short march. So, take it over.
We may be slow, but we're still moving.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
We are the Triangle Raging Grannies. And we write songs to sing truth to power. We've written a brand new one for you today about the climate emergency. Here we go.
Oh, we're radical environmentalists. Yes, we're radical environmentalists. And we've come to tell Duke Energy in this climate emergency, we're rising up and we will take a stand. Governor Cooper, you must also take a stand and tell Duke Energy to nix their plan. Tell them we demand clean energy like solar, wind, they're carbon free. We're rising up and we will take a stand. Oh, we don't like energy from fossil fuels. Just leave them in the ground, we ain't no fools. We refuse to pay Duke's rate hike, and we'll join in the great climate strike. We're radical environmentalists. Our Mother Earth is dying, and it's plain to see that we are in a crisis and emergency. Much of the blame's on Duke Energy, who poisons our state with impunity. So, Governor, it's up to you. We won't pay for Duke's cleanup costs, and that's no lie. They're the ones who made this mess while people die. They're passing their costs on to all of us and throwing their customers under the bus. So, Governor, it's up to you. Governor Cooper, we know the buck stops at your door. We've had enough of Duke Energy's lies. We won't take no more. So put an end to their fossil fuel schemes. They're killing our children and killing our dreams. So, Governor, it's up to you. Yes, we're radical environmentalists. When people mess with Mother Earth, it makes us pissed. So get out and tell the others that the Earth is still our mother. Then we'll all be true environmentalists.
Hey, everybody!
Raging Grannies. That was awesome. Always love a good song. My name's Renata. I'm with the Sunrise Movement, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our march, just so y'all loosely know what's going on. I also wanted to say, as part of Sunrise, youth-led, youth-centered climate justice movement. The big thing we're trying to do right is next generations, the kids, the folks who are younger. We're going to live with this experience that we have created, right? We're going to live with the climate emergency. So as a Durham hub, as part of Sunrise North Carolina, we're trying to push and support all the awesome groups you heard from today, right? All these folks who are pushing, have been pushing for decades to get the change we deserve. So we're excited to keep working with all of you. Keep showing up, keep pushing for change, keep pushing our governor to declare a climate emergency. That's it, so I hope to see y'all keep showing up as we keep pushing, as we keep going on. So for today, quick things about the march. Those of you who do not feel comfortable with a short walk, won't be too long. Feel free to stay here if you're more comfortable. The rest, you'll just follow some folks in the yellow jackets, and Charlie over here with a drum will lead our march to start us off. So, other thing, if folks have signs with sticks on them, just be a little wary, be careful, make sure you don't poke anybody by accident, and watch for the trees. Always a struggle. So we're doing our best to keep everybody safe today. Yeah. So we're gonna line up facing that way. So following Charlie. So if you're ready to go, you got some signs, get yourself ready. Any last questions from anybody?
I have something.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We brought a bunch of puppets and banners. Are there any folks who feel strong enough to carry this blue puppet with us today?
If you want a puppet hold, come this way. Volunteer. All right.
We have a bunch of banners if anybody wants something.
And let's make sure the young folks who are leading the march, there'll be some of the leaders up front with the banners. So let's go ahead and walk with them.
All right, what do we want? Clean energy. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it,
shut it down.
We don't get it.
Shut it down.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
We don't get it.
Shut it down.
We don't get it.
Shut it down.
We don't get it.
Shut it down.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
we don't get it.
Shut it down.
We don't get it.
Shut it down.
This is what democracy looks like.
Yeah, I was way back in the software.
You can hear part of it?
All of it.
Okay, okay.
Fracking gas has got to go. 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 We're gonna go right.
Fracking gas has got to go. Hey, hey.
Ho ho. Fracking gas has got to go. Ho ho. Fracking gas has got to go.
It'd be nice. I mean, you can always count on pricing.
energy for North Carolina.
Would look a little bigger. Go ahead. Oh. want? Clean air. When do we want it? Now. When I say, what do we want? You say, clean air. What do we want? Clean air. When do we want it? Now. When I say, what do we want? You say, clean air. What do we want? Clean air. When do we want it? Now. When I say, what do we want? You say, clean air. What do we want? Clean air. When do we want it? Now.
Yeah, but at least it's spread out into 4 more months for part of it, and then another few after that. It's surprisingly not, no, it's painless. It's just, you know, when you explain the procedure, check it out.
No more methane, keep it in the ground. 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 Keep it in the ground.
Our chant leaders keep going.
Keep it in the ground.
Yeah. We're going to say no more gas, no more oil, no more gas,
no more oil. Keep your garden in the soil. No more gas, no more oil. Keep your garden in the soil. No more gas, no more oil. Keep your garden in the soil. No more gas, no more oil. Keep your garden in the soil. No more gas, no more oil. Keep your garden in the soil. No more gas, no more oil. Keep your garden in the soil. No more gas, no more oil. Keep your garden in the soil.
Let's stop up here for a moment and
Get out of your stupor! Leadership now!
What did she say?
Say it again. Cooper, come out of your stupor.
Governor Cooper, leadership now!
Governor Cooper, leadership now! Governor Cooper, leadership now!
Governor Cooper, leadership now! Governor Cooper, leadership now!
Governor Cooper, leadership now!
Governor Cooper, leadership now. 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 Governor Cooper, leadership now.
Take a picture of your computer here. Yeah. Otherwise,
we're gonna
see one website.
We're gonna have these and look for sign up. Click out next time to a workstation. And so you take all the groups.
Yes.
And look for everybody.
Thank everybody.
Climate emergency.
When do we want it?
Now.
When I say, what do we want? You say, climate emergency. What do we want?
Climate emergency.
When do we want it?
Now.
When I say, what do we want? You say, climate emergency. What do we want? When do we want it?
Now.
When I say, what do we want? You say, climate emergency. What do we want?
Climate emergency.
When do we want it?
Now.
All right, everybody, I do not have a podium this time, but I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who came out and attended today and marched. It means a lot. I know it's a Friday. I know it's a little bit chilly. Thank you so much to our speakers, to our performers for your time and for your performances. Thank you so much to the 17 groups that came out today and supported this event, and to the almost 90 groups, I believe, that have signed on to the petition to ask Governor Cooper to declare a climate emergency. I just wanted to let everybody know we do have some next steps for you if you're interested in taking them. We have a computer with us, and if you'd like to sign the petition yourself, we have some time for you to do that now, so please come see us after the event. Additionally, we're going to try and host these rallies a little bit more frequently, so please stay up to date with NC Warren online. I know Sunrise will be posting some of the events to their page as well. And I just wanted to say one more time before we close, thank you so much to the young people as well who came out today. There's never been a movement in the history of this country that's taken place without the support and the leadership of young people, so we need to be looking to them for our solutions. Thank everybody so much. Thank you to Kim Porter, who did such a great job putting this event on. I hope that you'll be safe in getting home. Thank you.
Turn the side.